Good evening, Melbourne, and good evening, Australia. Wherever you are, we've even had some viewers from the US. So wherever you are, love and best wishes. I'm Michael Kazilny. Tough times never last, but tough people do. And we're getting into that season where a lot of people find loneliness and do suffer, because loneliness is a terrible thing, isn't it? Just being by yourself. Thank you very much for coming up in the street over the last 7 years and sharing your story in a very authentic way. You know, now in my late 40s, I'm sort of really enjoying authentic people, people who are just open books, people who are love-orientated rather than fear-orientated, you know. I always think of the brevity of life every day, that we come here naked and by ourselves, and we're going to die naked and by ourselves, you know. So why go around telling bullshit stories and, trying to accumulate the most cars and money and, there's no pack racks on coffins. What I like about this show, we get some really decent people on the couch sharing their stories in a very authentic way. Tonight we have a great fearless warrior, Patrick, on the couch. He's been around the system. He's helping people now, but once upon a time you wouldn't want to cross him. He'd probably kill you because he was angry. He was on drugs. He was sick and tired of authority, but he turned his life around completely. Warrior, barbarian, thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael.
You're a good man.
I like to think so now.
You're a good man.
I always believed that I was a good man. And
yeah, it's been an interesting journey. You've spent time in prison, you've been on drugs, you've been violent, but how did it all start off? Like Henry Nissen says over there, we're all little babies one time.
Exactly.
You know, little babies, but but you ended up in a state of ward. You were you?
I was ward of the state. To the age of 17.
How did you end up there? Mum and Dad were...
I was taken from by welfare to St Joseph's Babies Home in Broadmeadows, which I remained there. I was around the age of 18 months, so I remained there till the age of maybe 2, and then I was taken to a hostel in Essendon. Yeah. Remained there till the age of 15. And
these joints aren't 7-star places, are they? There's a lot of bullying going on, and even some floggings, was it? Oh, well, look, it was the breaking of wooden spoons on me, the straps, the hitting and stuff like that. It wasn't the outside that I wasn't worried about the damage on the outside. It was the inside that was impacting me so much. Where was Mum and Dad at this time? I don't know where my mother was. No. She had 10 kids, 11 kids. 10 were taken from her. Right. My father had another 4 kids. So it's been a journey to find them. Age of 38, I found all of them. So amazing. Now, Patrick, in there, you were there by yourself? I was with a brother. With a brother? And probably one of the most traumatic times was when I was probably 8 or 9 years of age. My young daughter is 9 now. I stood walked to the edge of the roof, the old roof that went up. I went to the highest part of the pinnacle of the roof, and I was about to jump. I was going to jump, but I wanted to be with my mum in her arms, as I was born into her arms, and I was missing people trying to imitate my mother, non-Aboriginal people. Was Mum still alive? Mum was still alive, trying to find her kids. But in any case, viewers, it got so tough that he started drinking the grog at I think about 8, and then got onto the cannabis, and then had a cocaine addiction, psychosis for about 10 years. Oh. Tell us about the drug, because we've only got 3 lots of... no worries. Tell us about the drug abuse. Yeah, well, the drug, first incident was with the alcohol at 8 years of age, just walking around drinking the empties of things drinks at the parties and stuff like that. Plastered, 13, marijuana, going into speed, going to jail. Started going to jail at the age of 17. Violent crimes. Isn't that amazing? Some people go to some of the private schools around Australia, and they've got their membership at the MCG, and everything goes nice, and given a lot of chances and opportunity. Other people, and they end up being doctors, lawyers, accountants, and other people, get abused, beaten by the system, and unfortunately take a different path. So he then becomes very angry with the world because there's no love there. And then he does all sorts of stuff. There was a siege, there was an attempted murder, there was a lot of anger there. And you can sort of understand where that anger comes from, because society has basically wiped him. You're a little kid and you're just trying to protect yourself, and then you think, stuff it. You just, if somebody came to you and gave you a hard time, you just, give them...
I wouldn't let him get inside me, so
No.
they were a threat, and fear of imminent harm, I just responded in the best way. I understand now that 1926, this responsive flight and fight, I was in fight. I'm only learning about flight now in the last 10 years.
Bro, what sort of crimes? Tell me about some of the crimes.
Threats to kill, numerous occasions, aggravated burglary, attempted murder, just violent crimes.
Violent crimes.
Like, there was days getting out of a car because I was angry and hitting the first person on the road.
No, with such a society where there's witnesses, and you sort of knew you're going to get caught up in this, and the phone call came from the police, yeah? Mr. Frank come in for an interview. You sort of almost had a feeling you're going to get interviewed, charged, and end up in court and maybe do some time in prison.
Exactly. I was incarcerated.
But you were so low in your mind, you just didn't care.
No. I had a little burning flame that kept me alive. It didn't matter the darkness. It didn't matter where I was. I had this little burning flame burning inside.
And bro, that little flame then ended up at Pentridge, yeah? You spent some time at Pentridge?
I started at Pentridge and went all the way through.
What was your attitude like when the sentencing judge, the county court, I suspect, of Victoria, sentenced you? Yes. You end up in that little prison van at the back there. Yes. You're thinking, shit, not another stint. You then walk into the prison population. You might have already known a few people there.
Yes.
How did you then adjust your lifestyle? What was going through your mind?
I kept to myself.
Kept to yourself? You didn't continue on bluing with people?
My first time I went in jail, there was a bit of politics, which I wasn't unaware of.
No.
From the previous generation and stuff handed down, sort of come through the lines, but I was willing to die for my namesake, anytime, anywhere.
You were that fearless?
Nothing was I had to get home to my wife and kids.
Did you ever get close to dying?
I won't go there.
No?
I won't go there.
Feel comfortable, bro, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, well, I've been stabbed,
Yeah.
It's not...
But you got so down, not about other people having a go, but you were suicidal, yeah? Over that time?
Half a dozen times I've tried, so...
Got so low?
Not in jail.
Not in jail,
no,
afterwards?
No, my mission was to get out of there, and it didn't matter how I got out of there, I come through on it.
So the mind, Patrick, got so low, and I want to take you low. Okay. It's not all about up at the moment.
Yeah.
It got so low that you wanted the curtains to close. You wanted an early departure from this planet.
Look,
numerous times.
I got so low that if I didn't get out of prison, I didn't get out of prison. If I did to view myself in that way, if I didn't get out, I didn't get out. But I had something to fight for.
And we might talk about how you turned your life around after you got to prison, but tough times never last with Patrick on the couch. Don't go away. Welcome back to the show. I'm Michael Kazilny. You know, everybody, on this earth, there's fear-orientated people. They're scared of everything, fear, phobia, this, that, you know. They've got the philosophy of an insurance company. This man here, the warrior, he's not fear-orientated, he's very love-orientated. And you'd think, Michael, how can he be love-orientated? He's been in prison for violent crimes, attempted murder. You know, he's been a drug addict and maybe even sold drugs, but people do change, and that's what we need to remember. It's a very judgmental society. People do change, and once people change, we should appreciate that and show a bit of kindness and you know, and encourage people like that. This man came out of prison, and unfortunately, because he was still going through some turbulent times, then lost a whole decade almost on what do you call it? Cocaine psychosis.
Yeah, well, I hit the brick wall at age of 30.
I know people who you know, all these fancy schmancy, even professionals who have a line of coke every couple of weeks, maybe at the Palace or something, or at a party in Chapel Street, but yours was a lot worse. Did you inject this stuff? Or?
No, I never injected it.
Just snorting?
That's something that kept me alive, I think. Just snorting, yeah.
Snorting, and it's expensive stuff.
And just straight in the mouth sort of thing, yeah.
And where do you get this stuff when it's expensive?
It's out there.
It's out there. That's all we need to know.
There.
It's out there. It's all in the past. So you were that hooked that this addiction lasted for 10 years?
No,
Right.
about 2, 3, 4 years. And then I hit the brick wall, which
What does that mean?
went into psychosis. Ended up I was incarcerated again.
What did you do?
I went to Broadmeadows and I kicked everybody off the train, taking back ownership sort of thing.
Right.
Because that's where it all started for me, in Broadmeadows as a baby, and it was like I'm back there again, and this time I'm taking whatever. I actually walked in, they took me in and they stripped me naked, battered me or whatever, and these are the jacks, and they took me into the cells and stuff, and in psychosis I said, that's enough, I've had enough, I'm not hurting my family no more, I'm not hurting myself anymore. I'm going to the other ones on the side, because when you think of it, there's more loved ones on the other side than are here. Wow. And actually, I was in handcuffs.
And you were being beaten?
I stood up on the concrete slab where you sleep at night, and I'd actually done a backflip to break my neck, that's the scar I carry today.
Sorry to hear that, bro.
But
you just wanted to...
That was it for me. I didn't want to hurt my family, I didn't want to hurt myself anymore.
Was that almost like a siege situation, was it?
Sorry?
Was that like a siege situation on the train? A lot of coppers came, did they?
Oh yeah, they came. I got away and they chased me and rah, but done what they did, and that was it for me. I was going on the other side. I was quite happy to go, and no more pain for my family. But I'm still here, and I'm telling you about it today.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're still here, bro. And that resulted in lots of charges, conduct endangering life, assaults, and all that sort of stuff, did it?
All that stuff. I ended up being released from Thomas Emling, criminally insane. Right. I went from...
and look at you now. You got it all back together.
Well, I had to... I did some stuff on my own issues.
Good on you.
To go back in time, actually.
You've really worked on yourself.
To work with a young boy that was hurt so much.
Yeah.
To fix the interior of the car, sort of thing.
Isn't he a beautiful, authentic human being, folks? Don't be judgmental. He's been off the grog for a long time. No drugs. He stopped association with all those evil and undesirable people. And you know what? He tells it the way it is. There's no masks there. He's a straight shooter. That's refreshing in these days, isn't it? So refreshing to have somebody say it just the way it is. But you've worked on yourself, Pat.
Well, I've worked in the last 4.5, 5 years. I've worked more in my life than ever. Being responsible, like I've always wanted to do, to be the breadwinner for my family.
I saw them before. Beautiful family. Tell us about your family. How many children?
6 beautiful kids.
6. How old?
All on the one branch. Sorry.
How old?
19, 18, 14, 13, 12, and baby girl 9.
And you've got a good woman by your side too. She's still smiling.
My angel. She's
Not many
angel.
women smile anymore after being married for more than 5 or 10 years. You know, people get bored, but she's still smiling.
Yeah. It's been 23 years.
So. Yeah, so you're showing a bit of loving kindness to everybody.
Oh.
It was obviously a turbulent time there for a while, but she's very resilient.
She's a very strong woman.
She's a very strong woman. She doesn't want to trade you in.
No.
No. And you're a grandfather.
I'm a grandfather, 42. I never thought I'd make 40, but I'm here, and my father passed away at 43.
Is that right?
From a heart attack, and...
Do you think that you put him through a lot of stress over the years?
Well, I resented what he did. And
what do you do?
I resented him for many years.
Of course.
I more or less blamed him.
Did you give him a big hug before he passed on?
No, I didn't. No. But we shook hands. We were friends.
You made peace?
We were friends. We've got plenty of time to do that on the other side.
Yeah.
I just wanted him to be proud of me, and I hope he is now.
Patrick, you talk about the other side, but you don't believe in God. What do you believe in?
The Keeper of the Stars is a secret for me. Keeper of the Stars is my higher power, where I've been a skeptic all the way through, respecting all religions, cultures and creeds and stuff like that. It's kept me safe, and one day one day before I meet the Maker, that's up to me to make.
Well, I can understand how he's a bit, you know, the Catholic orphanage there where you grew up. They weren't the best here, were they?
No.
No, and you hear a lot of stories like that, and I sort of wonder sometimes why they all protect themselves, and you know, it's sort of like a, you know, such and such, yeah, he might have done the wrong thing in the 70s, they say, but we're still going to get a lawyer for him to represent him at the county court for all those offences. It's strange somehow, isn't it, how, you know, I reckon Buddhism is the way to go, isn't it?
Yeah.
Buddhism, you know, loving kindness and karma.
Oh,
And
it's my I'm moving, hopefully moving. My vision is mentoring,
Yeah.
mentoring the ones that the warriors out there that are still out there that are 13, 14 maybe, and then they get cut loose, not knowing what's in front of them. And guess what? I'm going to stick around and tell them there's
I like the
hurdles.
way he speaks to people, because a lot of you know, kids who are in strife, and that you know, you get the authorities and the parents and the teachers all laying down the rules, you know, do this and do that, and half the time they don't listen. But when you get a bloke like him who's been through the shit talking to the young troublemakers, it does make a difference. We'll be back very shortly on Tough Times. Welcome back to the show. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for the emails on the Facebook of Tough Times. So if you haven't seen it, please have a look, join in and leave your inspiration. Thank you very much for coming up on the street for the last 7 years or so. The reason I started this many years ago was because I've been around this crazy criminal justice system for over 25 years now, and I've dealt with people with fears, I've dealt with people who've committed crimes, and they're all life journeys. And what I'm finding is we're heading towards a very broken world. You know, what started off as a few million prescriptions for antidepressants has now gone into billions worldwide. It's rising 20% every year. People are suffering from phobias, fears, bipolar, depression, suicidal tendencies, and it's getting worse. People are splitting up. You know, 1 in 4 marriages splits up. 75% of people report they're not happy in their relationship. World is becoming very complex, and we just need to simplify and share and show a bit of loving kindness. Isn't that right, Patrick?
Absolutely.
It's a broken world.
Absolutely.
And I wonder sometimes why at school they can't, rather than all the stuff they teach, what about teaching if you are going through a difficult time mentally, you know, some tips on how to get over those self-esteem problems, or even how to choose a perfect soulmate, you know? What's the use of getting all these degrees and having up on the wall, and then all of a sudden, you know, a few years down the track, you split up, go through a bit of divorce, become depressed, and the kids get carted from one place to another? There should be a subject on how to find the perfect soulmate and how to read personalities, maybe.
Absolutely.
You know, just some real stuff. I think we need to get into an age where we become a bit more real.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you've become very real. Tell the viewers about all the wonderful work you're doing with those the people. What do you call it?
Well, it's run by VACSAL, Aboriginal Community Services Associated Limited. Bert Williams Hostel. I've been working there for the last 2.5 years. I've seen a lot of destitute guys go through the door.
How did you get up there? You just rang up one time and?
No, I worked at another Aboriginal organisation that was called Ngwala,
Nice.
Willambong, which I had the opportunity, having a great mentor showing me how to do the AOD support work in drug and alcohol rehabilitation. So I was there for 9 months, and then I got a couple of shift nights, and I moved into this position.
And a lot of those, tell us about they're all boys there, yeah?
All boys range from the age of 15 to 22.
Yeah, and they're on drugs or trouble?
All sorts.
All sorts.
We get the epidemic that's hit the Australian shores now. We're filling the brunt of it with the ice. 15-year-old, you know, 15-year-olds just crazy at the moment, you know. But to talk to them away from home is something that I admire their courage, that they express back to me.
It's lovely to have somebody so non-judgmental from the same sort of troops talking to them like a fellow warrior.
Exactly.
Or a fellow warrior. Yeah, I like that term, warrior. I call my friends barbarians. But yeah, I like that. You know, because otherwise the kids are used to being told off by the coppers. You know, what's your name? You know, check your pockets. The teachers, the parents, it's always that put down, the rules. You've got to conform to society. When you get the warrior here, he's got this beautiful family on one side, and then he's got his sort of undesirable family he's helping there, trying to keep them in line. Absolutely. And some of them do end up in more strife, don't they?
Absolutely. I mean, I was told by a great mentor of mine that helped me on my journey, that not giving up on me. That one person, if you can help that one person, the way it's articulately told in story to these young fellas.
Yeah.
They don't even have to ask for me to comprehend something Amazing. That I've written to them.
Patrick Foran, let me ask you this question, you fearless warrior. How's life at the moment? How would you describe your life in a fair income way?
I'll tell you just briefly. Where I was in a home in, it's called Wright Street. Actually, my wife's maiden name is Wright. We lived in, there was next door neighbours. I used to watch them on a Sunday and just watch them in the bushes. They didn't see me, but I was watching them. And they had this beautiful house. They had the old ride-on mower, and before they went to church in the little old car, I said, that's a lovely house, but I'm going to have one of them one day. It's not about the outside, it's going to be what's in the house. And I'm living my dream. I'm living my dream now. The rest of my journey is to help others, the rest of the warriors that are being left behind. I don't want that no more. No. And if I can reach out and just let them know, life's not going to be easy. You're going to come across these hurdles. Some big, some small. Some get to that big hurdle, they turn around and go and use again. Simple like that. But if I can help them push through and get over that hurdle, it's probably the greatest adversity that they ever had, even accepting a disability.
So it's quite amazing. You haven't been behind bars for 12 years.
Absolutely.
So if I said to you, look, Patrick, I've got this sure thing. I know where there's $2 million. It's stashed away. I know the bloke who works for the security company. After the show, let's do it. I'll give you $1 million. We'll be okay. We won't get caught.
No, I'll just say get someone else, but don't come near my family.
Good. So you wouldn't be tempted anymore. No. You've decided, no, that's...
My family. The only reason I'll go back there is anyone hurts my family.
Wow.
The line, I'll go back in now.
You'd go back then?
I'm a lion.
You're a warrior.
Live and die by the sword.
Yeah.
That's all I've got to defend, my family. That's all that I held on to get home to create what I've got now, and I'm living my dream.
Yeah.
The rest of my journey is to help the rest of the other warriors out there that hopefully feel that they're not alone after this.
That's so nice, mate. That's so nice. You've become very selfless, haven't you? Selfless, because before you might have been a little bit selfish there when, well, maybe not. Maybe just very broken.
It's sad to say, but when I was nicked, sometimes I've helped a couple of people not necking themselves that night. So nice. And they come out and they will have a coffee in the morning and say, well, I got through that night last night.
The festive season is approaching. It's getting warmer. People and their families in their big homes celebrating, having nice turkeys. A lot of people too very lonely. Very lonely
Absolutely.
And depressed, and they've got the masks on. They're going to work every day, but they're thinking of maybe hanging themselves or some sort of suicide. What do you say to them? They just haven't got any mates. We always say surround yourself with mates, but they just haven't got any.
Just hang on. Please, just hang on. Wait till I get there, or just hang on. Because there's other people like myself that would feel the same way, that we don't want you falling through the cracks no more.
Yeah.
We don't want you left behind.
Great advice. Go and get some help.
You're a part of, not apart from.
Beautiful. We'll have you on again, because that's some really good stuff you shared, Patrick.
Absolutely.
You fearless barbarian. Thank you very much.
Michael.
Thank you very much. I honour and respect you. I honour and respect you, folks. Thank you very much for watching the show. And nice to be authentic. Tell us your story. Why not email us and tell us your story, and have a really, really good week. Love and best wishes. Good night.